Welcome to Check In with SJ. I'm SJ. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to take just a minute to run through a reminder of who we are and what we do. Check In with SJ comes from Life Journey, Act 3. It reaches out mostly to those of us in Act 3 of our life journey. Those of us who've been around a little bit longer, a little more life experience. Just, we know each generation sees the world through different lenses, different filters. I'm here to encourage you, to motivate you. I'm here to remind you always that the same powerful force that created every atom in the universe also thought it important to create you. Your creator loves you. You are important. You make a difference in this world just by the fact that you're here. This is not a healthcare site, a legal site. I am a certified lay minister, and that is my joy, is reaching out, reminding people they are loved, hoping you will be encouraged, giving you a point of connection, because we are humans, and humans are social beings, even though we might have times we prefer to not be. But we are social beings, and we do need contact with others in some form. Okay, moving on. Today, I'd like to start talking about something that sounds simple. Let's talk about words. What are words? Words are a combination of sounds that we use to communicate. We communicate our thoughts, our feelings, descriptions of the world around us, um, what we would like you to do, tell you about what we have done. It is our verbal mode of connection. But words are so powerful, aren't they? Once a word is spoken, it tends to take on a life of its own. Once it is spoken and heard, you can never pull that word back in. It is out there, it is alive on its own. As much as you might wish you had not said that word, you did. Words have the power to, well, just to describe, convey information. Words have a power to build up. Words have a power to tear down, too. Think about times in your life when someone may have shared words with you, most often at you, that kind of hurt. Definitely didn't encourage you, didn't make you feel important, maybe even made you feel a little bit like crap. Now, growing up, I had to start wearing glasses very young. Actually, it was 2 weeks before I was 3 years old. So until I had cataract surgery, I didn't know what it was like to go without glasses. But as children can be a bit cruel to each other, for whatever reason, children do that. Um, I got picked on a lot about that, wearing glasses. I grew up in a rural area, and my family provided everything I needed. They did. I never knew that we did not have that much money. We had a home, we had food, we had love, but I didn't have designer clothes when it came to middle school. And sometimes I was picked on by the clothes that I could wear. But my parents provided for me wonderfully, I thought. And looking back now, realizing their income versus what we had, it's just amazing. But those words at that time hurt. And I do remember through the years that there were occasions that I can still remember hearing, not so much who said them, but remember the words cutting me down. I was not as good as other people because of material things or physical appearance. Those words had power. Those words took away a lot of my self-confidence for a long time. Like I say, kids can be cruel. Of course, so can adults. But words also have another power, don't they? Have you ever had anyone say maybe just one sentence to you that just really stuck in your heart? Maybe it was parents, grandparents, siblings, somewhere along the way in your youth, and even now, you remember how that made you feel. I had a great aunt, which would have been my mom's aunt, and after my grandmother's death, Aunt Vade became sort of like my stand-in grandmother. She would hug the fool out of everybody. She would hug you up, look you straight in the eye, and say, God loves you, and so do I. And she meant that from the depth of her heart. And I believed her. I knew no matter what came up in life, I could have gone and talked to Aunt Vade about anything. She would have still loved me. Even if people had habits that were a little bit aggravating to what she was used to, she didn't cut them down to their face. Up until the point she broke her hip the second time. She would go around to family members who were in need when my dad died. She came and stayed with us. And then she was called to another of the family members. Now, Aunt Vade was the youngest of 16 brothers and sisters, no doubles, no multiple births, to one woman. My grandpa was third from the youngest. When it came to Aunt Vade, they had had so many children, they wrote her name up the side of the page in the family Bible where they kept records. But her words just touched so many people. She really demonstrated the power of words. She had a grade school education. She also worked as a community nurse and the midwife. To those of us related to her, she was Aunt Vade. To her neighbors, she was Moll Cruz. People would send after Moll when it was time to have their baby. She just sort of spoke life into the hearts of people, whether they were blood kin, children of her heart. She was a remarkable woman. She knew how to express. She knew the power of words. Do you ever find it difficult to find just the right word to convey what you really mean? Sometimes I'll say something, and by the time the words get out of my mouth and I hear them, I realize, that wasn't exactly what I meant. That came out a little bit off. But by then I'd said it, the person had heard it, and had already formed an opinion over my intent. My stepdad had joined Toastmasters years ago. He had difficulty speaking in public, painfully shy, but he came to be an eloquent writer. And as a speaker, he would pause and search for that next best word. He would get part of the way through a sentence and then sort of stop and go, and he was looking up there for that next best word because he knew also the power of words. If you turn on the media, there's no telling what types of words you will hear. And people express what they hope is significance of their power in their words. And we have to be careful who we listen to. It's not only a matter of what people say, but we also have that choice of just not listening. If they want to talk that way, as Mel Robbins would say, let them. Doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean they know what they're talking about or it's truthful. That we need to build sort of a barrier. Think of it as a filter that strains out negativity, that we only will accept through the sentiments that are beneficial to us. Everything else is like, that's hot air coming out of their mouth. Yeah. But words have power. Tell me in comment below, is there a comment that someone made to you, maybe in your youth, in your other years, that sticks with you? That in the moment it didn't seem that big a deal, but you realize now that that really just hit you in the heart or just warmed your heart. And why does that thought stay in your mind? What was it about those words? I'm fortunate to have a lot of good memories of powerful words. I choose to ignore the others. I've had, my share of hurtful things said to me, but choose to let them say it. We look in the mirror, we see that person whose God loves them, and we see a good person. If you don't see anything else, ignore that part of it. Look for your good and remember, what types of words can you say to yourself that makes you feel your power, to feel your importance, to feel your vigor in life, your enjoyment of life, your gratitude. Oh, gratitude. Powerful words, gratitude. I hope you'll do something sweet for yourself. Look in that mirror, give yourself a big old hug, and tell yourself, I am loved, I am important, and I choose my words wisely. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll come back and visit, and we'll catch you later. Bye now.